social science journal just released a study, and I found it fascinating because it had 11 traits that when you're dating, a potential dater will find you less attractive just on the way you show up or what they can gather from that short meeting. And these weren't necessarily in person. They carried through and were significant whether you were online dating or in-person dating. There is one that is different for men and women. In other words, what men find unattractive in women and what women find unattractive in guys. So let's go through these. Okay, the first one, sleep deprivation. When your partner or a potential partner meets you, they can tell or they assume you are sleep deprived. First of all, when we are sleep deprived, we usually talk about it a lot. But also the skin looks different, the eyes look different. And when you communicate, there's less lacklusterness. You're exhausted and you're not thinking well. When they met these people, they rated them as unattractive because they thought they weren't really in the present and that they were looking for something, but yet they were sloppy and lazy. That's how they were judged. Secondly, being mean. No matter what you do, when you are mean, people recognize that and they don't like it and they assume it in little ways. Even the way you speak online, they notice if there is an edge. And when there's an edge, both sexes said, I don't know, there's something terse about that person. I don't like the way they communicate. And they did not rate them highly. The third, your power pose or limp body language. In other words, in person or online, it did not matter if your shoulders weren't back or you looked really limp or just like lackluster, I don't care what happens, kind of wishy-washy. When they were looking for a potential partner, according to this journal research, they did not find that attractive and they rated it lower. Stress. When people are extremely stressed, they zone out, they act stressed, they say they're stressed. If they don't, they've got bitten nails, or you can see in their mannerisms. Many times they'll overdrink, they'll over-medicate. When people were stressed, as soon as a potential date got whim of that, and they weren't as attached yet, or they weren't that attached, they tried to get rid of those relationships. In other words, they did not want to take on someone else's stress when it was apparent up front. So before you're going to date, if you have a lot of stress, you want to unload that before you start putting out vibes for a potential partner. The next one I found really fascinating. Looking too happy or acting too proud. Now this was what was interesting. Research showed that men rated women most attractive when they looked happy and least attractive when they displayed pride. Women, on the other hand, rated guys more attractive when they displayed pride and less attractive when they looked happy. Now, I don't know where you fit on that spectrum, but I kind of see it. I have never liked being around proud people. I feel like I have too much on my own plate. I work on my sense of pride a lot, and therefore, when I see it in another person, I recognize it immediately, and I recognize it as a fault, as a character fault, no matter what sex you are. That doesn't mean it's right or wrong. I'm just sharing some of my own personal belief about pride. I think we all could do much better with less pride and more understanding. Not having a sense of humor. I know that is true. I know the minute I saw my husband now's sense of humor, the more I liked him. It's very dry. It's very unusual. I really like that. And when I'm with my friends and other people, I want to laugh. I want them to make me laugh with something funny or doing something that I can later think about and smile. And therefore, I think that's very important, a sense of humor, not only in your attractiveness, which it surely was, but also in your ability to commit and continue a long-term relationship. Without a sense of humor, you're both going to be sunk. Laziness. Laziness was one of the unattractive things mentioned on the study. If they had even a whim that that person was lazy. They did not want to intersect with them, which I find fascinating because I personally think seeing someone lazy, it's a very difficult attribute to pick up until I'm actually counseling them. And then I'll go, this person is just unmotivated and really lazy, like they don't want to put any effort. In my own clinical practice, that's many times also a sign of depression. But the study did not go into that. It just said laziness was one of the unattractive traits that their study people did not find attractive. If you smell too similar or too different from a potential partner, I think they didn't mention that. They just said that we all have a sense of what we find as an attractive smell. And if that potential partner does not have that, or they have a body smell that is counter to what you find pleasant, you usually will not stay with them. That's one reason we talk about the importance of grooming and keeping yourself presentable, and not only presentable, but pleasing to a potential partner, because it does matter. That olfactory nerve that we smell things is right next to the sexual center in our brain. And believe me, it makes a difference how people smell dishonesty. They tracked dishonesty right away. And when they saw things didn't match, forget about continuing with a date. There probably was no second date. Heavy smoking or drinking. When they got whim of that, if the person they were talking to online talked about, getting drunk or having too much to drink, more frequently, if they were not attached yet, most of the time they would let those potential dates go. And the last one I found fascinating, immodesty. In other words, when you're looking for a partner, you're looking for someone who has some modesty, someone who's able to own their failures, their mistake. This tells you that they are going to be vulnerable with you. Makes sense. So anybody who's too prideful, too immodest, they're not afraid to show anything or say anything, those people were found less attractive on this study, which, once again, I think this stuff is fascinating. Hope you subscribers do too. If you're looking for a date, if you're in the act of dating right now, take heed of these because they're really important. They're important factors that you give yourself the best shot of getting a potential partner you can really relate with and feel good with. And not only that, but it's just good wisdom to know to keep your eyes out and use in the future.